and welcome to another episode with your man Opex, aka Steve. Y'all can call me whatever you want. Alright, let's get into it, huh? Shall we? Alright. What's poppin', y'all? Steve here. Now, I woke up real early as usual. And, well, I'm just leaving the shipper now. And I'm heading back down to Tampa. And then I'm going to end up going back to Homestead, which is very southern Florida. So, I'm excited. I'm in Alabama right now, where it's just basically country, and there's vultures and turkeys and cattle, and oh, look at the little calves. They're so cute. How anyone can eat meat after seeing what I've seen, I don't know. Anyways, so today is the 13th of March. And I definitely want to get into things today. I hope I don't go too off tangent, but I got a ton of different tangents to hit. First one, I gotta not talk about veganism. This one, I'm gonna try not to, because there's so much on my mind in terms of veganism. And well, my next vegan video, I really want to be with sources and with reliable information from reliable sources. So, in something that you can see personally, where I can show you video footage of things, not just slaughterhouses, so don't get it twisted, but this episode is going to base on veganism to start. But my next video, I hope, on veganism will be more in depth, where I can show you more. This one is going to be the myths of a healthy diet. So, obviously, most people think that dieting is just getting away from fast food and following the food pyramid, more or less. Lay off the dairy much more, and lay off more or less, processed foods. So let's get into it. Let's just dive into it. The myths of veganism is this, right? So people believe that the standard American diet is very healthy for you, where you have your sides, which would be, let's say this is dinner. You'd have your sides, let's say green beans or broccoli, and you want your starch, so you have mashed potatoes, and then you have your main course, which would be a big slab of meat, whatever that is. And I have to admit, that is just a terrible freaking idea, because what your body really wants is those greens. Maybe some starch for some carbs. And, well, the biggest problem here is that you're basically starving yourself by only having small little doses of greens on the side, which give you all your energy. Not to mention the carbs from potato, let's say, which would give you, well, it'll break down into sugar, and that sugar will give you energy as well, give you more of an upper instead of being down. And then you eat your meat, which the problem with meat is that your body has to digest that meat, and when your body does that, it is very difficult for your body to digest it, so it works extra hard to digest that meat. Now, of course, a lot of Americans believe that animal protein is very healthy and sufficient, but I beg to differ, because I believe without a shadow of a doubt, with my knowledge and my research, that your body has to digest that meat, which uses up way more energy than it's going to get. Now, there's a study, there's plenty of studies out there, talking about the average American diet will lead you to be the age of 65, if you make it that far, on a standard American diet, which you should. It's not the end of the world if you have a standard American diet. It's not terribly bad. It's not as bad as eating McDonald's every day, so of course it's a plus in a lot of ideas. So, by the age of 65, you're going to average have about 15 pounds of undigested raw meat. Undigested red meat. Just can't digest it. It just floats in your system, and it just hangs there because you're eating meat probably every day. Most likely, you're eating meat every freaking day. So, when you're floating around with all that extra meat, of course it's much more difficult to lose weight. You're gonna have to work extra hard to lose weight. So then when you see like people that are bodybuilders, and they always suggest you eating like the standard American diet, but sometimes even times 2, eat a lot of low carbs, high fatty foods. And that's what they typically do. But then they have to work twice, 3 times, 5 times as hard to digest it, because you're going to have to work out that much harder in order to digest it. So let's recap a little bit about what I was saying earlier about low carb, high fat. Now, carbs are like what you need. That is 100% what you need. Carbs are very good for you. That is a myth that it's not good for you. It's a myth. Of course, I don't have all the research and shit right now to prove to you and give you all the numbers. I'm not in front of a computer or anything. I'm driving a fucking semi-truck right now. And, well, if you're trying to lose weight, high carbs are actually phenomenal for you. High carbs, low fat. Stay away from processed foods, meats, greasy foods, like fried foods. Now, some of this stuff might be baby food for you to understand, but you got to understand as well is that the majority of American citizens believe that you need to have that standard American diet as the ultimate, following the food pyramid, the ultimate diet, where you can get all your nutrients and all your fiber and protein and everything off the standard American diet, which I don't believe at all. I believe that you can get a lot out of it, but if you retract that meat and you throw something else in there, there's a lot of superfoods out there, and I've never heard of a superfood being a cow product or pork or chicken. That's not superfoods. That's actually making your body digest it twice as hard. 100 times harder than digesting something that it actually wants, whether it's greens or, whatever it is. Even fruit. It's so easy to digest. Hence, when you eat a banana, you feel like farting right away, right? Because it goes right through you because your body digests it very well. And then within that half an hour, you're getting spikes of good carbs and good sugar. So, part of the myth idea and the myth busting that I'm doing right now is this. People believe that having those little greens and stuff is going to compensate for that big slab of meat, but that couldn't be more wrong. Come on, slow down. I'm really heavy right now. I'm like 80,000 pounds, which is the max gross you need or you can be allotted in trucking. And I'm at a max amount. I just came from having like nothing to 80,000 pounds, so I got to get used to braking really early now. So back to what I was saying. The myth is you get something like greens and starch and stuff, and that's going to make up for your meat. That is not the case because, like I said, your body has to digest that meat, which prolongs your process, which gives you inflammation. Not the good inflammation, which there really isn't no such thing. I've heard vegans, especially, what's his nuts, Durian Rider. He had a video yesterday or 2 days ago maybe, talking about inflammation in a vegan diet being actually really good and necessary. I haven't done the research on it. He may be right. He probably is right. but I don't know enough to touch on that subject. But in my eyes, still, inflammation is the root of all disease. Of course, no matter what food you eat, you're going to have inflammation. It's just going to happen. It's just very bad inflammation in terms of greasy, processed, meaty, fat foods. Typical American wants to lose weight. So this is going to be a little bit of a joke side. I hear this all the time, and this is why I laugh at it. It's a very serious thing for me, but people laugh at it. People want to lose 10, 20, 30 pounds, but they don't want to fall into the whole diet and exercise scam. I think that's funny. However, it's as true as it is, people are sort of lazy, but I don't want to touch on the laziness. I'm going to touch on the facts. If you ate correctly, what your body needs in nutrients, and if you just moved your body fucking 15 minutes a day, you know, you don't have to go overboard. Basically, if you ate correctly, your ass would be more firm. You don't have to worry about losing weight. You're going to be nice and toned and firm just by what you eat. Fact. So, here's another myth for you. Might be a little funny at first. Where I'm from is Rochester, New York. They have their signature food there, which is called a garbage plate. I used to work selling garbage plates for a mom and pop joint, and well, I did that for like 2.5 years, selling garbage plates to people. During the time of me working there, I started becoming more vegan. I know it's not the correct words to say I am vegan, but more plant-based, and losing the meat and not buying animal cruelty products, the whole nine. So I started becoming more vegan, even though I was never 100% vegan. So during that time I was selling garbage plates, this was a big misconception. Now I know this is a joke for a lot of people, even half the people who ordered it this way, but there are some people that actually believe this. Of course, this is the dumber down of Americans. George Carlin said, look at the average person and look how stupid they are. Of course, this isn't verbatim. And just realize that half of them are even more stupid than that. So, the stupid people that would come into my work would ask for a garbage plate. And if you don't know what a garbage plate is, which you probably don't, it is what it just sounds like. It sounds like a garbage plate. It's just a bunch of fatty, meaty goodness on top of so much starch. Half of the people can't even finish a garbage plate because it's just so massive. But people would order a garbage plate, and then they would order a diet soda. Like that's going to compensate for it. Now, like I said, half of them say it as a joke, you know, I need a diet soda to compensate. But this is the thing here. Half of them actually believed that one way or another, that ordering a diet is going to somehow help them through the garbage plate. Like it's something that can help. Clear myth. There's no way a diet soda, which I'm not going to get into the problems of diet soda right now. I'm not going to get into it. That's a whole nother video, let alone soda alone. I'm not going to get into it. That's another video for another time. But people believe like somehow that's going to help them. But in their mind, what they're actually doing is saying that, how to make it, in their mind, say like, to approve of what they're eating, they can get a diet soda or something. So I kind of want to touch base on a few of those myths, like I did. And I also want to talk about the pros and cons of the American diet. The pros are this. It's way better than not dieting. Meaning, if you're going out to eat all the time, to fast food restaurants, Taco Bell, your body can actually digest it much more properly, much less processed, and much less greasy. And it's homemade, it's fresh. So when you have your beans, starch, I'll switch beans to greens, because any greens, starch, and your meat, that is 10 times, 100 times, 1 billion times more healthy than going out to eat at fast food joints. Pros are pretty much that. Your body wants that, and you can live a long life on a standard American diet. Great. The cons are this. You do have meat. Meat is not healthy for you at all. It causes inflammation. It gives you cancer. It clogs your arteries. You have undigested meat, which gains you weight, which gives you more inflammation, which... I don't have all the facts with me right now, but I'm just showing you a few cons and pros of that scenario, the standard American diet. If you want to go on that diet, of course you're going to need to exercise in order to burn it off. But a plant-based diet, pros and cons. We'll start with the cons. If you're going from an American diet, standard American diet, to a plant-based diet, first thing you're going to realize is that you're not getting your fix. You may get all the nutrients, you may feel a lot better, but you're not getting your fix in terms of meat, in terms of flavor, because there's something in that meat that you're kind of driven to in terms of flavor. You know, blood, which there isn't really blood in meat. That liquid's not blood. It's more water, but it's disgusting because it's like pink dyes and stuff. Anyways, not getting too much into that. But you're not getting your flavor or your when your body consumes meat so often, it wants that meat. It's the same thing with any drug or chemical or you name it. If your body's used to it, you're going to want it. And so you're going to have a little bit of withdrawal. It's not like cocaine withdrawal, but it's like a type of withdrawal that it's kind of tough to get off meat. And that's pretty much the only con to this. Now, the pros of a plant-based diet, raw specifically, is an extreme amount of nutrients that your body desires and needs to function. You're going to get enough protein, so that's a myth. You're going to get enough protein on a plant-based diet, and if you don't think you are or whatever, do your research. Don't take my word on it, but do your research. Look at all these vegan bodybuilders. Look at Nate Diaz beating up Conor McGregor. Now, I want to touch base a little bit on that because I've seen a lot of vegans make that video of how Nate Diaz, a vegan for like X amount of years, since he was like 18 years old, he says, where he went full vegan, he whooped the shit out of Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was in great shape, right? But he doesn't follow the vegan plant-based diet. So he doesn't have how Conor McGregor eats affected his outcome of that fight. Guaranteed. He likes to eat high fats, low carbs, when a vegan diet is high carbs, low fat. Generally, like that's the case. As you saw, with fatty foods like meat, you can get an explosive amount of energy that'll last you a whole round or so, right? Where you are at your max and you can give it a lot. Well, on that diet, you can't go 5 rounds in the ring at your potential. There's no way. Not even potential. Even at half mass, you can't go to the 3rd round on that kind of diet. Nate Diaz, vegan with high carb, low fat diet, you saw him in the 2nd round whoop ass. Want to know why? Because he still had tons of energy in the tank. He could have easily went 5 rounds because of his diet. Nothing really else. I mean, of course, his training and stuff and his precision striking, things like that, well, Conor McGregor could not go that long. As you saw in that fight, the vegan one, and I'm telling you right now, it did have a lot to do with the diets. You have more energy, prolonged energy. Vegan diet will also, if you're a guy and you care about your sex drive, you don't want it to be clogged. I'm telling you. You don't want your arteries to be clogged. You want as much blood flow as possible. I'll just put it that way. You're not going to get harder on a meat-based diet, American diet. You're not going to get that hard. But I'm telling you, as a vegan, I noticed a big difference. Not a big difference, but I noticed a difference that you last longer in bed. You're much harder and bigger. So that's a little thing for you guys. Women, clearly, you're going to look so much sexier. I have a huge thing for vegan women. Oh, God, I love vegan women. It's an obsession with mine because not only are they beautiful on the outside on a vegan diet, but they're beautiful on the inside for doing it. They have care. They have character. They're beautiful. On the standard American diet, of course, you can find good-looking women on the outside. And, of course, most people are good in nature. And if they knew more about the vegan lifestyle and why people are doing it, more than just the health reason, but by the caring reasons, you're going to realize that a lot of people would go vegan if they just knew, if they just had the information. So those are the things I want to talk about in terms of veganism without the sources and all the video footage that I want to show you on the next video, where I'm going to go more in depth. I'm going to at least do an hour video. But this video was based on that, basically telling you a few myths, a few pros, and a few cons. So I hope you enjoy. It's Opex here. Stay tuned to my next video because I am active now. I do have a phone that uploads to YouTube daily, so I'm going to at least try to do daily videos. So I hope you guys enjoy. I have so much more content, so much more. So stay tuned. Happiness, longevity. Be pure, man. Be happy. Be healthy. You know, be happy. I can't freaking tell you as much as I want to tell you about how to be happy, but that is in a billion more videos. So stay tuned. See you guys.